Hello there everyone and welcome back to the channel, and if you're new here, welcome. For today's episode, we will be having an unbiased analysis of the top 10 finalists in their evening gowns from the recently concluded 72nd Miss Universe Coronation Night. So this will be different from the previous Miss Universe evening gown review that I made earlier, because for this episode, I will be ranking the top 10 evening gowns from what I personally feel to have the best gown, overall styling, and their presentation on stage. But before we proceed on the analysis, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button to stay updated with the channel's future episodes. So first up, we had Puerto Rico, and she wore a floor-length gown by G.L. Garlate Design, I hope I pronounced that right, for the competition. So it features some stunning beadwork over a mesh fabric in a combination of blue and purple tones that created this stunning ombre effect. It also features a separate sort of cover on the neck and shoulders, which also featured some beaded fringes that hang from both sides of the back of the gown. Now, what I loved about this is that it looked vibrant on stage because of the choice of colors, and I also loved the fringes of the gown, which created more drama in her presentation. And I also loved the fact that she wore her hair up to balance out the rest of her look. And I also loved her choice of earrings. So yes, I love this in comparison with her preliminary evening gown, as the colors seem to complement her so well. And overall, this is a great gown choice, also great styling, and she gave an amazing opening performance in the evening gown segment. So next, we have Miss Thailand, and she sported another nude look. This time was made by Myriad Grand Mont, and they named the gown the Stars of the Universe. So this look is embellished with silver-toned crystal beadwork that depicted celestial imagery. Okay, to be honest, I don't like the gown as much as I would love to, because admittedly, Thailand to me perfected the art of see-through gowns that the undergarments are barely noticeable. However, this design and silhouette is quite similar to the one she wore in the preliminary competition of Miss Universe Thailand, which was also made by the same design label. Also, it is highly noticeable that she always go for nude gowns since her national stint, that I got used to seeing her in another nude gown with almost similar silhouette and detailing from afar, which also meant that my excitement of seeing her in a dramatically different look got lost in the process. Other than that, her hair, accessories, and heels were perfect for the gown. Now, she posted this gown on her social media, which I think is the best looking gown on her because the color really suits her so well, and her styling is just so neat yet very powerful, and the visual detailing is just amazing for me. Personally, I would have wished to see her in this than the gown that she wore in the coronation night. Okay, so for my favorites ranking, I'm gonna place Thailand below Puerto Rico. Next, we have Miss Peru, and she was wearing this blue and white gown designed by Jose Zafra, which features a linear detailing that seems to be gathered from the left side of her waist, and this also featured this structural strap on her right shoulder. I love this gown personally because it seems like the designer took the design a level higher than the typical pageant gowns by creating this structural one-shoulder feature. The design looks neat and easy for the eyes, the length is also great, and the color is just right for Miss Peru. And I must add, her earrings were great, and great choice in terms of heels. But personally, if I have to be nitpicky, I think there's no need to add crinoline on the gown's hemline, given the fact that the gown already has a slit. Also, I think that instead of having this circular shaped detail on the waist, I think it would be better to have some straight lines just to tie in with the overall visuals of the gown, which is very linear. So overall, I love this gown. And for my favorites ranking, okay, this is such a close call for me, but I think I have to put her below Miss Thailand. Okay, so next we have Miss Colombia, and she was wearing a John Lexel creation, similar gown that she wore in the preliminary competition. Okay, so this is a silver gown in a fit-to-flare silhouette with a peekaboo mesh detail on the sides of the bodice and some three-dimensional detailing on the breast area. Okay, personally, this is a safe choice. Do I think it has an amazing fit? Yes, but design-wise, it's a little bit on the safer side. Although because of its simplicity and amazing fit, that you would really gravitate towards Miss Columbia's beauty, especially that she had her hair on the back and the choice of earrings is just perfect. However, it is quite common for a Miss Columbia to settle down in these types of silhouette and colors that my anticipation on what a Miss Columbia would bring into the table has gone for me personally. So yeah, it's still a good gown for her, but design-wise, it's a little bit on the okay side. So for my ranking, I will be putting her below Miss Peru. And now we have the Miss Universe winner herself, Miss Nicaragua, and she's wearing this gown by Venezuelan designer Nidal Noayhead, which is embellished by crystals and also features a blue satin cape. It is said to have been inspired by the colors of the Nicaraguan flag, which to me is such a sweet dedication. I like the gown because it is floor length, the fit is absolutely amazing, also the embellishments aren't too much, and somehow I also like the idea of the gloves because they are not too distracting on her. Now, with the cape, I am not really on board with it, but I have to give props on her because she really used it to her advantage given the fact that she's a performer on stage, so it really helped her showcase that performance. But one detail that I really love is her choice of heels because it is the same color of the gown. For me, it is important to match the heels with the dress, especially with gowns that has no slit, so that every time a candidate walks, the heels won't be a distraction, as it is well camouflaged with the gown. Actually, I didn't mind that Miss Nicaragua isn't the first one who wore the gown, which in pageants is seen to be a taboo, but as long as she looked good in it and performed, then that's enough for me. So for my favorites ranking, although I love this gown, but in terms of overall visual impact, I'd still go for Puerto Rico, so I'm gonna put Miss Nicaragua below. Next, we have Miss Philippines, and she's wearing an amazing gown designed by Mark Baumgartner, which is inspired by the legendary Filipino tattoo artist Apu Wang Od. This gown features multiple symbolisms that were seen on tattoos on Filipino ethnic communities. For me, this is the best evening gown in the competition. From the details, the construction, especially the fit, everything is well executed. This is also the only gown in black and in long sleeves, so it is a very eye-catching gown. I also love the idea of the skirt because for me, it is a representation of the local Filipino fabrics being worn as a wraparound skirt by the ethnic group in which Apuwangod is a part of. So this is hands down the best evening gown of the night for me. So for my favorites ranking, I'm gonna put Miss Philippines at the top. Next up, we have Miss El Salvador, and she walked on stage wearing this sparkly white gown with sexy cutouts and gold detailing. So okay, I love the color on her. The gown looks nice, but for me, it doesn't have that much wow factor. And I also didn't like the choice of heels because it was in silver, and I think it would have been better if she went for a nude one instead. Her accessories were fine, but her hair, I think I kind of find it a little too effortless that I think it would have been better if she opted for curls, well, just to balance out the simplicity of the gown. So overall, the gown is okay. And for my favorites ranking, I'm gonna put Miss El Salvador below Miss Peru. Now we have Miss Venezuela, and she's wearing the same gown that she wore in the preliminary competition that was designed by Richard Ramirez Castro. So as I've mentioned in my previous video, which I'm gonna link above, the gown is superb. From the fit down to the length and the amazing detailing, this to me seems to be a gown made to perform on stage. The fringes were not too long, so for me it wasn't distracting at all. And I also loved some hints of blue on the bodice. And I'm also happy that she didn't bring her cape this time because I just love the design of the gown itself. But what I think is the sad factor in her overall look is her hairstyle, as it looked a little bit too distracting. Her prelims hairstyle, however, to me is just perfect. So, for my favorites list, I'm gonna put Miss Venezuela below Miss Nicaragua. Next is Miss Australia, and she wowed on stage in this trumpet-style gown by designer Aline Lecal that features crystal embellishments that is danced from the bodice and gradually disperses towards the bottom of the gown. I've also included her in my top 20 prelims gown favorites because I love how easy it is for this gown to be admired at the same time to admire Miss Australia's beauty. However, like I said in my previous video, I think it would have been better if the train length is a little bit shorter, at the same time add more embellishments around the knee area so the dispersion of the details are more fluid. But all in all, I really liked this gown on her as she really shined on stage in it. So for my favorites ranking, I'm gonna put Miss Australia's gown below Miss Nicaragua. And the last girl in the top 10 is Miss Spain, and she walked on stage wearing this Jose Carlo creation that features some vine-like detailing that started off with gold tones on the top part, then eventually changes into green tones towards the bottom of the gown. Okay, so the gown itself is amazing, the beadwork, the design concept, and yes, I also love the 3D detailing of the bodice. However, I am not into her choice of footwear as it was in silver. I think it would have been better if she just opted for nude heels or perhaps a green one, similar tone to the details of the bottom of the gown. I am also not a fan of her earrings because it did not necessarily go with the design of her gown. Another thing was her choice of underwear because it was a little bit distracting to see the underwear that didn't necessarily match with her skin tone. So in conclusion, the gown itself was great, but the rest of the looks were a little bit on the negative side. So for my favorites ranking, I'm going to put Miss Spain below Miss Colombia. So here is my ranking for the top 10 evening gowns from what I think is the best down to what I think needs more improvement overall. So what do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And if you like this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And that's it for this episode. And until next time, bye bye!